Hey everyone, Mike here. The Polaris Dawn mission was announced yesterday by SpaceX, the first of 3 planned launches in the Polaris program. There's a lot of new info here, but today I'm going to go over a few main points. First, this really feels like SpaceX is starting their own human spaceflight program, independent of NASA, to push the boundaries of their own spacecraft capabilities. Second, they're doing an EVA, a spacewalk from Dragon. Third, you know I love Starlink. They're planning on using Starlink Laser Links to support this space mission, as well as missions to the Moon and Mars. And finally, the final Polaris flight will be the first Starship flight with humans on board. If you want to keep getting updates on Polaris and other space activity, subscribe down below and hit the bell to get all my videos as soon as they come out. Okay, SpaceX is starting their own private human spaceflight program. This is huge. The Polaris program appears to be a partnership between SpaceX and Jared Isaacman. Isaacman was the commander and the source of funds for the Inspiration4 mission, which raised over $240 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Jared goes by Rook Isaacman, and if you look at the Polaris Project website, all the terms and conditions refer to Rook X LLC. Presumably, Isaacman is still paying his way along with the mission pilot Scott Poteet, but this time around there are also 2 SpaceX employees on the mission, Sarah Gillis and Anna Menon. Both Sarah and Anna are heavily involved in astronaut training and operations. Getting them some actual flight time as astronauts will add heavily to SpaceX's ability to conduct human spaceflight. And it's this aspect I find most interesting. As SpaceX develops their own rockets and spacecraft and their own astronaut program, there's really nothing to stop them from conducting their own missions to, say, the Moon or even Mars, independent from NASA. These probably aren't money-making missions, but for Elon Musk, it doesn't matter because he's not in it to make money. He's in it to make humans a multi-planetary species. And that probably won't happen when humans are moving at the speed of government. And on this, I really want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments if you think human spaceflight should be driven only by NASA, or if private companies can do just as well. Let me know down below. For Polaris, there are 3 planned missions, the first being Polaris Dawn. We don't know the names of the second and third missions. Maybe Day and Dusk would be good. But we do have some info, and I think the most exciting thing is they're doing an EVA, a spacewalk from Dragon. So SpaceX will be modifying their suits that they use inside Dragon to be usable outside Dragon in kind of outer space. There's no details on what the EVA will entail, but I imagine since it's really the first for Dragon, the main goal will be just to prove that they can. And I'm guessing something like a visual inspection of the outside of Dragon. The big question in my mind, from the graphic, it looks like the EVA will be through the nose of Dragon, where the cupola window was for Inspiration4. That means they need an airlock space somewhere in the internal volume of Dragon, which probably means it'll be fairly cramped. If you look at some of the video from the Inspiration4 mission, there is an interior door for access to the nose volume, and it should be rated as an airlock since that's the same way they dock with the space station for the supply. What's not clear to me is if there's enough space for a person in an EVA suit between the inside hatch and the outside hatch, and if that means that then they won't have the cupola window on the Dawn mission. We'll see. Okay, so laser links. The Starlink Laser Links, or space lasers, are being deployed on all new Starlink satellites. They allow satellites to talk directly to each other without needing to relay through a ground station. For Starlink, this means coverage over parts of the Earth where ground stations just aren't practical, like over the ocean or Antarctica. For spacecraft like Dragon, it means they'll be able to stay in continuous contact with Earth, even if they're flying over areas with no ground station coverage. And they'll have high bandwidth communications that could enable things like maybe a live stream of the EVA, that'd be cool. And of course, a better experience for the astronauts wanting to keep in touch with folks down on Earth over the course of the 5-day mission, and maybe longer for the future missions. It also proves out a potentially significant market for SpaceX to provide continuous links to other satellites and spacecraft in Earth or even lunar orbit. And finally, Starship. Oh, and if you're enjoying the video, hit the like button. I think this is the most significant announcement politically. The first humans flying on Starship will be commercial astronauts, not NASA astronauts. The final flight of the Polaris program will be the first human Starlink flight. Presumably that will include Jared Isaacman, but it's not confirmed if the rest of the crew will be the same or if they'll kind of do different combinations with different people. SpaceX will likely want to do many unmanned orbital flights of Starship before putting humans on board. I imagine we'll see many Starlink launches to prove the safety of the overall Starship system. In terms of making it human-rated, it's big enough that they could just take a Dragon and put it inside and use that for the crew. The first Polaris flight is planned for the end of this year in a Dragon spacecraft. It's sure to be an exciting year. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you next time.